So we're out here in Tirana, Sunday, July 2nd, walking around. We hear all this music, and we come outside, and we see, boy, they about to start racing. Okay, all right.
Hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, leave a comment, and share.
I don't know what the special occasion is. What's the reason they going Fast and Furious? Maybe Vin Diesel is making a special guest appearance. I don't know, man. I ain't Tyrese, so I hope nobody confused me for Tyrese, man. Anyway, I hope it's a good race. You ready to see it?
Yeah, I've never seen a car show before.
So on this Sunday, my wife and I were just still exploring Tirana, and we went to Bunk Art 2, which is a museum that is in downtown Tirana, and then we also went to the National History Museum in Skanderberg. And after doing those two things, we went out to go get some food. It was raining so heavy that day, off and on. So we got stuck at this restaurant called Oda for many hours, and we ended up chatting with these two Italian Americans who were there backpacking through Albania and headed to Turkey. So after getting stuck there, we started wandering around the city in the evening, and my wife was like, I want to go to this place that has art and old communist relics in a park in Tirana. So I said, okay, why not? We have time. It's Sunday. I have nothing to do. So when we make it to that park, we see that there's nothing really there except one piece of the Berlin Wall that was transported to Albania as a part of an exhibit. Anyway, we make it to that park and we hear all this loud music coming from, a few meters away. So we say, you know what, let's go check it out. We're just exploring the city. And so we make it to this car show, and there were no tickets. Nobody asked us to pay for anything. It really seemed like it was a impromptu event, or it was an event planned by somebody who was shooting a music video or something like that. I have no idea why this event was happening. It was very cool that it was free and open to the public, and there were probably at least around 2,000 people gathered around to watch the car show, and many people were participating in it as well. It could have been maybe because of some event that happened in Albania on July 2nd, because after going to so many museums, I do remember seeing the date July 2 as an important date in Albanian history. I don't think it's the Independence Day. Maybe it's the day the fascists left. Maybe this is a holiday. I'm not exactly sure, and I didn't do any research. But anyway, the car show was really cool. It opened up with this one car that was driving around these dancers who were doing flame tricks and also doing splits and cartwheels and stuff like that. It seemed like maybe that they were doing this for some type of promotional purpose, maybe shooting a music video, maybe shooting a commercial, maybe for a TV show, because there were many guys with cameras, with drones, not just in the crowd, but like actually on the tarmac where the cars were driving. And it seemed like everybody was really focused on getting the best footage they can. And it seemed kind of controlled too. There was also an MC who was up there speaking in Albanian, getting the crowd hyped, introducing the drivers. I don't speak Albanian, and I wasn't with anybody who could translate for me, so I'm not sure at all what they were talking about.
What you think of the car show?
I'm thinking, what satanic man ritual is this?
This first car that was in this exposition, it seemed like it wasn't participating in the event that you'll see later in this video, where all the cars were trying to go around the cones, the tires, the trash cans, and not hit them. This car seemed like it was more of a show car, and that's what made me think initially that this event was about something for promotion, because this one was just, doing circles around the girls, revving up the engine really, really loud, burning rubber with the tires to kick up as much dust as possible. And I think that this one was probably the whole reason why this event happened. They were trying to, get some hype around this car or whoever's driving this car or something like that. Either way, the girls were doing a good job on keeping it entertaining at the beginning, and I think it would have been cool if they continued. But my wife and I were having a good time just listening to the music and watching the cars. The music, I have to say, is actually pretty good here in Albania. They were playing some local music here, and they were actually some jams. And, you know, it's funny because my wife is editing the video of our trip to Tanzania and Kenya right now. So if you're new to my channel, go check out my other channel, Backpack Bandits, to see all my adventures in Africa. But my wife was listening to all the music that we were listening to back in Kenya and Tanzania, and she was like, oh, the music was so good there. But since being here in Albania, the music has been actually pretty good too, at least from what I've heard, the local music. I think here in Albania, they like a lot of hip hop, a lot of rap, a lot of drill. They got their own style. I think a lot of their music probably comes from the Albanian diaspora and it's not local, meaning like all the artists that are big here probably live in the UK or Germany or elsewhere, and then that music comes back here. I'm not really sure, and I don't really care. But what did bother me is that I was listening to one song, we were jamming to it, my wife and I, we were dancing, and then the Albanian dropped, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, my nigga, and I was like, oh, just took me out of it. Really disappointing. I'm going to be doing a video about why white people should not be using the N-word. But anyway, if you're an Albanian and you're listening to this and you're going to get upset, nobody cares about your opinion. But if you're an Albanian and you know the song I'm talking about, it's by an Albanian rapper and the chorus goes like, my bro, my bro, my bro, my bro. Let me know the name of the song because I want to try to find it. And yeah, anyway, the cars that were drifting were doing a great job, keeping it very entertaining. There was a lot of downtime in between the cars though. So one car would go out and do the competition, go through the track and drift. And then there would be like almost 15, 20 minutes of, you know, just waiting for the next car. You get what you pay for. I mean, it was a free event and it was a free car show. So why should I complain at all about that? But that was just interesting. I wonder why, because there were so many cars lined up to go onto the track. And, you know, I only stayed maybe for 5 or 6 of them. But the 5 or 6 I did see were really good. Like this guy who was drifting, though he did hit a can.
Can't hit the barrel, man. Can't do that. No, no, no.
I think they disqualified him or he lost points. But I don't know if anybody won the competition because I didn't stay until the very end, as you'll see. But a lot of the drivers were actually very professional. They look like they've been doing this for a long, long time. And I think that they probably do this quite often here in Tirana. But let me know in the comments if you know that Tirana is known for drifting, drag racing, and that sort of thing. There were so many people out there. A lot of people were just passing through. So that's what also made me think that this is probably something not very, I guess, rare for Albanians to do on the weekend, because there were a lot of people that didn't stop and stay for this. And that made me think, you know, maybe this is something very common. This car was doing a lot of racing, and I saw this name Hell Drift on a few of the other cars. I don't know if Hell Drift is the name of the team, if Hell Drift is the name of the company, if this is a promotional event, but there were a lot of cars out there repping that. So shout out to Hell Drift, because a lot of their drivers were really good. This guy was ripping and racing around the track and really, you know, not missing his target, really sliding. I gotta keep it real with you. I'm not really that into cars like that. I don't like the Fast and the Furious movies. The only car video game I ever played was Need for Speed, like back in the early 2000s. Gran Turismo was never my thing. I don't watch, you know, the Indy 500 or NASCAR. Never was really into cars. Didn't find it fascinating. I've only had 2 cars in my life. My mom gave me her Nissan Xterra when I turned like 18, and then I went to college, and that was the car I had all through university. Then later on in life, I had a Mustang drop top GT. It was really cool, man. But that car got robbed in Miami. Somebody took my car, stripped it down for parts, and I had to go pick it up at the police station, the bare skeleton, and I had to pay $200 to get it unimpounded. Shit was wild. But cars, not really, you know, something that tickles my fancy. But it was still cool to see this, and maybe this could be something I could do later in life, man. Maybe I could, get a nice little sports car like this, go out to the empty parking lots on the weekend or a track outside the city and just start ripping it, because these guys made it look cool, especially this car right here. This black Hell Drift was probably my favorite car that was going around the track. He was just sliding, gliding, and he made it look so effortless. And some of the other cars looked like they were struggling out there, but this guy was really pressing it, really, making that motor do its thing. The car was clicking under. I don't know if that was a malfunction with the sparks under it or if that was a part of the show. Either way, it was very cool, very gangster. This was another Hell Drift car, and he was really repping for the team. This might be the most professional driver or the most proficient driver I've seen, and he was excellent on the track, excellent. And all the cars here generally look like the same types. I don't know the brand or the model, but they look like they're the same cars, and they look like they've been retrofitted to do these sort of things, because I don't think you can take just a standard car off the lot and make it do stuff like this, I think you got to either be great and also, you got to make sure that the tires are right, the engines are right, all of those things. But the crowd loved this black Hell Drift car. They were really, really into this one. So good job.
What'd you think of that one?
That was my favorite. I like the little turn and stop. Like, click and snap.
Like you can expect when you're traveling through this part of Europe, I was definitely the only black person there in a sea of white faces. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. In fact, I sort of expect it at this point when I'm backpacking throughout the Balkans. But when I was there, did I experience any racism or any hostility or any awkwardness? None at all. People might think that on my channel, because I talk about white supremacy, racism, anti-blackness, that sort of thing, that I'm just this super hypersensitive person that is always out looking for racism against me. But that's actually the opposite. The whole purpose of my channel is to travel throughout the world and explain my experiences as a black person. Because living and existing in black bodies is a totally different experience than any other group of people can imagine. And so I see the world through black eyes. And what I'm actually looking for when I go to places like Tirana in this random car show is just a place where I can be nobody, where I can be left alone, where I can enjoy something special, fun, and entertaining with my wife and not have people harass me or make me feel awkward and weird. And it was great. When I was at this event, my wife and I basically just had a good time, weren't bothered by anybody. Nobody came up to us. Nobody approached me. Nobody approached her. Nobody asked any stupid questions like, can I take a picture with you, bro? Or anything like that. We just had a great time just watching the cars like everybody else. And so, listen, for anybody who watches my channel and thinks that I'm out looking for problems or looking for racism or looking for discrimination, it's actually not that. 90% of the time when I walk the streets of every country in the world that I go to, people are respectful, kind, nonchalant. They don't care. It's just whenever I face discrimination explicitly or whenever I hear about implicit biases or bigotry against not only black people but any group of people, I will always speak out against it because that's what I do on my channel. And that's just what I have to say. Enjoying the car show was one of the coolest things I did here in Tirana because I hadn't seen anything like this in America. In the United States, a lot of the side shows, as they call them, which is the name for this sort of drag event that they do in California and on the West Coast. These side shows are actually illegal. They do side shows also in the South. I saw a video of people doing it in Texas and stuff like that. But people usually do these sorts of events late night, in abandoned parking lots or intersections in remote areas. And, the police come and shut it down and everybody runs away. Sometimes there's violence at those events. But once again, that's something I've never experienced in the U.S. I've only seen it in videos and heard about it.
So we just left Albania Drift. I don't know why they were doing that. I don't know what's the occasion, if it's for a music video. I don't know. I enjoyed that. What did you think?
It was fun, yeah. It was different. That was the first time I saw a drift show. So I don't know, it was different.
It was
Not
cool,
really
man.
my taste, but it was nice.
Glad nobody got hurt. I've seen a lot of videos of people wreck out and crash out, hit somebody. None of that happened. Good job.